Good day everyone, this is Group 6 and we will going to present about the Philippine financial system and international business finance. History of Philippine banking. Banking in the Philippines began in the 16th century with the establishment of the Obras Pias by laymen associated with religious orders. Funded from the legacies and donations of wealthy individuals, the Obra Pias were then sole source of commercial credit. Its funds were invested in mortgage financing loans, trade with Acapulco, and maritime insurance. Obras Pias profits were channeled to the construction of churches, government buildings, and other charitable and religious projects. Among the first banks that emerged in the early 19th century was the Rodriguez Bank, which was more of a loan association than a regular bank. The need for more extensive banking services and facilities led the Board of Authorities in Manila to establish on August 1, 1851, the first state bank in the Philippines, Banco Español Filipino de Isabel II. The Obras Pias provided 50% of the bank's capital. The Banco Español Filipino de Isabel changed its name to Bank of the Philippine Islands on January 1, 1912. The bank had by then established correspondent arrangements with the Paris Bank for the servicing of clients' transactions with counterparts in Europe, and other parts of this is now the oldest existing bank in the country. During the American occupation, 7 domestic private banks came into existence. Branches of Japanese as well as Chinese banks were also opened during the early part of the period. The Postal Savings Bank was put up in 1906. The first agricultural bank was established in 1908, but its assets and liabilities were transferred to the Philippine National Bank, which was organized in 1916. 3 years after the American regime ended, the Central Bank of the Philippines was created, establishing a managed monetary system in the Philippines. Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas. The BSP is responsible for maintaining price stability conducive to a balanced and sustainable growth of the economy. The BSP keeps prices of goods and services steady and at reasonable levels so the economy can run unhampered. The BSP provides policy directions in the areas of money, credit, and banking. To keep prices at reasonable levels, BSP must protect at all times the value of the peso. It supervises the operations of banks to promote the soundness and safety of banking. As provided by the Republic Act 7653 and other pertinent laws, the BSP also regulates the operations of finance companies and non-bank financial institutions doing quasi-banking functions. The Money Manager. The BSP manages the amount of money available to the public to keep prices from increasing more than usual. The Supplier of Money. Only the BSP can legally issue money in paper notes and coins and in amounts consistent with the country's economic program. The BSP also prints the paper money and mints the coins. The Bankers Bank. The BSP grants loans and accepts deposits only from banks. It grants loans to banks for commercial, production, and similar purposes as in exports and agricultural activities. The Supervisor of all banks. In the exercise of its responsibility to supervise banks, the BSP regularly monitors and examines the operations of banks, as well as their compliance with banking rules and regulations. The main bank of the government. The BSP is the official depository of the government. Some of the tax collections, proceeds of the sale of government securities, and foreign loans are deposited with BSP. The BSP Monetary Board is the policy-making body of the bank. It is headed by the governor, who is concurrently the chairman of the board, with 5 full-time members from private sectors and 1 member from the cabinet. Banking services sector serves the banking needs of all banks through the combined efforts of BSP departments and offices. Supervision and examination sector takes care of enforcing banking laws and monitoring compliance so as to promote a banking system that is safe and sound. 1 department supervises each category of bank. This supervisory reports and studies office conducts policy studies in connection with the supervision and management of banks. Resource management sector serves the personal security and transport, computerization, buildings, and facilities and other administrative needs of the BSP Book of Accounts, plus the regular accounting transactions between the banks and BSP. Also under the RMS Deputy Governor's care is the Security Printing Complex, which prints out paper and mints coins and refines the gold mined in the country.
The Philippine Monetary Board or BSP Premier, the power and functions of the Bangko Sentral be exercised by the Bangko Sentral Monetary Board, hereafter referred to as a Monetary Board composed of 7 members appointed by the President of the Philippines for a term of 6 years. A. The government of the Bangko Sentral, who shall be chairman of the Monetary Board. The government of the Bangko Sentral shall be held of department, and his appointment shall be subject to confirmation by the Commission on Appointments. And B. The member of the cabinet to be designed by the President of the Philippines. C. 5 members who shall come from the private sector, all of whom shall serve full-time. That of the members first appointed under the provision of these subsections, 3 shall a term of 6 years, and other 2 to 3 years. The members of the Monetary Board must be natural-born citizens of the Philippines, at least 35 of age, with the exception of the government, who shall last be 40 years age. In addition to the qualification imposed by Republic Act, a member of the Monetary Board is qualified from being a director, officer, employee, consultant, stakeholders of any bank or any institutions. The member of the Monetary Board coming from the private sector shall be hold any other public office or public employment during their tenure. The President may remove any member of the Monetary Board for any of the following. A. If the member is subsequently disqualified under the provisions of Section 8 of this Act. And B. If they physically or mentally incapacitated that he cannot properly discharge his duties and responsibilities, such as incapacity has lasted for more than 6 years, months. If the member is guilty of the acts or operation which are fraudulent or illegal character, or which are manifestly opposed to the aims and interests of the Bangko Sentral. And D. If the member no longer possesses the qualification specified in Sections 8 of this Act. Other laws related to Philippine monetary system. Number 1 is Philippine Coin Age of 1903. The gold coins contain 12.9 grains and gold and 9 pennies, and silver coin contain 416 grains of silver and 9 pennies. And number 2 is US Coin Age of 1903. Philippine money was redeemable in drafts of checks payable in full gold standard currency. Number 3 is Gold Reserve Act 1934. Under this monetary standard of the Philippine currency was not redeemable in gold but in dollars. Dollars exchange. Standard Philippine currency was redeemable in dollar instead of gold. And next, managed currency system, which the creations of central bank, country monetary system, and banking system were recognized. Central Bank, known as the Republic Act No. 265, was enhanced. Then Mickey Mouse notes. The Japanese military government issues paper bills called Mickey Mouse notes, not because they were legal tender but because of fear from authorization's ground of non-cooperations. Characteristic of the Philippine currency. The Bangko Sentral shall have the sole power and authority to issue currency within the territory of the Philippines. The Monetary Board, with approval of the President of the Philippines, shall prescribe the following features of notes and coins. Denominations. This value includes the face value of each coins and paper bill. And B. Dimensions. These are the size of coins and paper bills. C. Design and inscriptions. The graphic or text imprinted on each money. And D. Colors. Variation in color of each denominations for easy recognitions. E. Weight. This include the paper weight and metal weight of the alloy. For coins, the said notes shall statement they are liabilities of the Bangko Sentral and fully guaranteed by the Government of the Republic Act of the Philippines. The Monetary Board shall prescribe the amount notes and coins be printed and minted respectively and condition to which the printing of notes and the minting of coins shall be subject. The Bangko Sentral maintains a currency retirement divisions responsible for verifications and evaluations of notes and coins for replacement or retirement.
Instrument of monetary control. Quantitative instruments. Open market operation. This refers to the purchase and sales of government securities by the Bangko Sentral. Discount rate policy. When member banks borrow for legal services, the services of the bank are increased by the amount equal to borrowing. When they repay previous borrowings, banks' reserves go down. Reserve requirements. Bank reserves shall be proportional to the bank deposit liabilities and shall ordinarily take the form of a deposit in a Bangko Sentral. Qualitative instrument. Stock market credit open market operations. Setting a minimum margins requirements on the purchase of stock. The margin requirements is the down payment a purchaser of stock must pay to buy the stock on credit. Moral suasion. This describes variety of information methods used by the Bangko Sentral to persuade its member bank to behave in particular manner. Philippines financial system. 8 elements. Financial institutions consist of private and government organizations whose main assets are incomes or claims derived the performance of financial services. Financial markets are institutions which bring together parties in buying and selling of financial claims. This may include the Manila Stock Exchange and other similar groups dealing with money market operation. Financial claims include the right to receive money based on financial instrument presented. These instruments serve as evidence for claim, either a debt or equity claim.
Private banking institutions. Commercial banks cover the widest range of functions among all financial intermediaries. Their services include receiving, collecting, transferring, paying, lending, investing, dealing, exchanging, and handling money, safe deposit, custodianship, agency, through the ship, and among claims domestically and internationally. Thrift banks are saving and mortgage banks, stock saving, loan associations, and private development banks, which in addition to accept savings and time deposit. Rural banks are regional banks operating primarily to serve the needs of people in the province and suburban areas. Government banking institution or Philippine National Bank. Aside from the granting of loans and credit or PNB in authorized, the purpose discount is negotiate promissory notes, draft bills of exchanging, and other evidence of debt issues or drawn. To grant loans on or to discount notes required by harvested and stored crops. To grant medium-term and long-term loans and advance against security of real estate and or other acceptable assets. And then, The grant loans against personal security or against security consistent of personal property. Then to make loans to any branch subdivisions or agency of the government. Development Bank of the Philippines. It is tasked with the development and expansions of agricultural industry and promoting the establishment of private development banks. Land Bank of the Philippines. Its lending activities are geared primarily towards helping farmers acquire land under the Agrarian Reform Program, as well as finance the cultivation of these lands and marketing of the produce. Philippine Amana Bank. It provides credit, commercial development, and saving banking facilities at reasonable terms of the people of North Cotabato, Maguindanao, Sultan Kudarat, Lanao del Norte, Lanao del Sur, Solobasilan, Zamboanga del Norte, Zamboanga del Sur, and Palawan.
My topic is all about private non-bank financial institution. First, investment houses are companies engaged in the underwriting of securities of other corporations. Example of investment houses. Investment property is real estate that isn't occupied by the owner and is meant to result in either rental income or capital appreciation. Second, investment companies are financial institutions that raise funds in the capital market by selling their own issues of securities, mainly common stocks, to individual investors. Example of these investment companies is each of these firms offers many products to retail clients, including hundreds of mutual funds, exchange-traded funds, and other vehicles covering different asset classes. Financing companies extend credit facilities to consumer and to industrial, commercial, or agriculture enterprises. For example, many people who purchase vehicles from General Motors obtain their loans from General Motors Acceptance Corporation, GMEC. Securities dealer brokers or brokers. Securities dealers brokers are intermediaries in the marketing process as broking as dealer of as underwriting. For example of securities dealers, any person engaged in the business of buying and selling securities for his own account, through a broker or otherwise. As example would be a real estate or stock broker who facilitates the sale of property. Non-stock saving and loan association are corporation engaged in the business of accumulating saving of its member. For example of non-stock saving and loans association. A bank grant loans for credit card, mortgage, where the homes are spread across the state, and commercial loans for hotels, restaurants, retail stores, and factories. Building and Loans Association. Building and Loans Association, there accumulate savings and profit upon surrender of their share to encourage frugality, industry, home building, and etc. For example, of Building and Loans Association includes commercial banks, internet banks, saving and loans and credit unions. No depository lending institution do not hold deposit. Firms are a good example. Then, pawn shops. Pawn shops is an entity engaged in the business of lending money on personal delivered as security for loans. So, pawn shop is the pawn shop, also called a pawn shop or pawn broker, is a shop or business who loans money to people who bring values items which they leave with the pawn broker. Trust corporation act trustee or administration of any property or trust and deposit. Insurance companies, premium collected but unused are extended as loans to consumers and business entities. Fund manager, it may administer pension, retirement, or preventive funds. Living investors receive funds from the group of persons regarding of number through traditional deposits or insurance of debt and equity securities. Venture Capital Corporation was organized under Presidential Decree Number 1688 on 1980 to assist small and medium-scale industries. Government non-bank financial institution, gapon ini. Government service insurance systems. It provides social insurance and securities benefits to members and has supported financially a wide range of economic development projects, both government and private. First, retirement insurance funds. Second, state insurance funds, employee compensation. Third, general insurance funds, property insurance. And the fourth, barangay official life insurance funds. International business finance. International business finance, similar with the domestic firms, principles of business finance also apply to foreign operation. Example of this international business finance, they are four types of international business. First is exporting, second, licensing, third, franchising, fourth is foreign direct investment. Foreign exchange market. The foreign exchange market is undoubtedly the world's largest financial market. Example of this market is a market in which one currency is exchanged for another currency. For example, in the market for euros, the euro is being bought and sold and is being paid for using another currency such as the yen. First, importers who pay for goods using foreign currencies. Second, exporters who receive foreign currency and may want to convert to the domestic currency. Fourth, speculators who try to profit from change in exchange rate. The last is exchange rate. An exchange rate is the price of one country's currency expressed in form of a country currency. Example, for exchange rate, if the current U.S. exchange rate between the U.S. and Britain was $138 for 1 pound, and American consumers would need 1.38 to buy 1 pound worth of goods. That's all.